Hello, my Teaser King family. How is everybody today? Bobby Bo, I see you're early to class. I was just cooking a little bit, and so I thought I would get it set, just the last thing. Let me send to Daria. And I'll be right with you. So tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So I sent her some. She says roses are $3 for roses. So I sent her. I sent her $50. She says, if you can't buy a dozen roses, that's bad luck. It's got to be an odd number, which I talked about yesterday. So I said, well, get whatever. And then the rest get chocolate and whatever else you want. But I haven't heard from her today. She's been going to the doctor for her neck and her hands hurting, and it's from the neck. And she sent me what it was, some strange thing. And to me, I thought it's like a pinched nerve or something. But she gets shots in her neck, but she says my neck's fine. It's my hand that keeps waking me up. So I think it's like a pinched nerve. When you sleep on it, then your arm goes numb and you start freaking out having a stroke. Anyway, so that's Daria. See, she was just on. Actually, she's just on now because I sent her the picture and that. So she's seeing that I send it, but she can't respond. Maybe she's working again, or she's at the thing, at the clinic. Now, before everybody loses their minds, we look at gold and we go, what happened at about 8:30 in the morning, driving the price straight down with no buy from 229 to 2004, and then at 10 o'clock to 1991, and now it's 1991. Silver's at, where did silver's loading? Silver's at 2203. What's going on? Well, we know it's not demand. We know it's not free market. This is why we don't worry about that. We know it's the derivatives driving the price down from JP Morgan. So the question is, we got to look at it stoically. Stoically says there's no problem. Right? We know everybody wants gold. The demand's high. Central bank's buying it. So to me, who wants to buy it? That's pushing the price down because we know it's not real supply and demand. In other words, it's not me and Bobby and Luke and everybody selling our gold, knocking the price down as if it was on the Mahomes card. Well, we're all selling it, so the price is going to. Nobody's selling the gold, even if we bought, me and Bobby and Nick bought 5 tons of it, it wouldn't raise the price. So if we sold 5 tons of it, it wouldn't lower the price because it's all done by JP Morgan and Comex. They're the ones selling the derivatives. And I've listened to 5 or 6 idiots. I had a fun morning going, you're an idiot. Another idiot. I'll show you these. And the funny part is they think somebody owns derivatives. Well, people who can own derivatives, oh my God. It's like nobody owns a derivative of gold. Who'd be stupid enough to do that? Bobby Bo, yeah, I see that it went below 2,000. Like, is somewhere flipping out. Yeah, see, but it's not, that's the thing. It's not being sold. It's the price fixing of the derivatives or options that they're selling. Normally it's bought back. So I don't know if there's some holiday or some reason they're not buying it back, but it'll be bought back. So don't worry about it. again, this is COMEX at its finest. This is JP Morgan, and they're selling, and then here come the Chinese and the Indians to buy it, which is probably why it went down. It goes down because somebody wants to buy it. All right. Well, I would tell you, Bobby, go out and go buy, a ton of silver at 2203, because you don't have the fear it's going down. It's not like nobody likes gold. It's some bullshit with the news of raising or not raising interest rates from the Fed, which has nothing to do with gold. I'm sick and tired of gold's an asset. Does the U.S. dollar going up or down have any effect to this Mahomes card? Absolutely not. This is between me and some buyer. I'm putting it out. What do you give me for it? It doesn't matter about the dollars. It's an asset. Gold's an asset. It's also money, but it's an asset. Diamonds are an asset. Picassos are an asset. What does it have to do with what the dollar's doing? And the dollar ain't getting better. You can't make it better. I don't know if they're raising or lowering interest rates. It's pointless. They don't know what they're doing. So, yeah. Well, he knows better. I mean, Luke he shouldn't be flipping out, or I don't know if he's serious all the time. We had a lengthy conversation at the airport when we first met. And then he's been on several of our classes, so. This is probably the calm before the storm. Meaning, this is it. It's dry. It's like, okay, everybody out. It's like their last gaff, and then, now it should start really moving up. But again, this is a phony market. See, here's what I understand, and now you understand, ahead of all these other idiots. They don't understand it's paper and it's fixed. There's countless guys I saw today who don't get it. I mean, all these idiots. I'll show you my history. All right, so the first idiot is this guy. All right, getting up before it's too late.
Tired of paying for things you don't need? Like 96 rolls of toilet paper when you only need one?
Managers again did what? Change their preferences from stocks to undervalued commodities that have less risk, probably more reward. And sure enough, that's what's happening.
All right, I didn't comment here. Here's Mike Maloney. This looks really scary.
That they owe you a certain number of IOUs. That national currencies steal part of your future lifetime.
This guy.
Is my big point. It's a tool for enslavement. Just to have
clueless. What's he talking about?
Requires your future work hours to pay on the assets that were acquired.
The fuck's he talking about? Then there's this guy, Rafi Warber. Another
monetary demand because of the lack of the ability of the dollar to actually be used.
Another Keynesian. This is what I did all morning. This was my morning, looking at these guys, and they don't understand. Then I listened to her.
Central banks globally, they've been.
I didn't add a comment. I thought I had. Yeah, I did add a comment. I tried to shake my head in there when I could, Bobby, for you. This is just like, what is she saying? Then there's our friend Andy Scheckman. And notice it's the same scenario.
That is going to
Didn't add a comment to his. And then this guy, David Morgan.
so we might.
You'll like this one, Bobby. This guy is clueless. He doesn't understand paper derivative gold is price fixed. That was supposed to be shake my head, professor. So that's how I do it. And nobody ever responds to me, right? Like, so of all these guys, so Morgan and Shackman and the woman and this crazy guy and Maloney and this guy, none of them have a clue. I looked at this, but this is something old. The Cougaran being brand, I got worried for a minute, but it was 20 years ago. And then this is the same alligator one we've watched. Gold could surge 1,500% overnight. And then he did his fiat one, which we again we just watched it. That was it. So I was having fun with those. I mean, I'm watching they're not very long, and I need about 3 minutes. And they don't get paper. They're always looking at like Maloney, and Maloney looks at a chart. Well, wait, it's a paper chart. You don't get it. Shuckman tells you how much gold's being bought and sold, which we know a lot's been bought. You're not telling me anything. Doesn't understand COMEX. I mean, I would love to debate any of these idiots. Like, do you not understand what COMEX is, what paper gold is? Are you that clueless? But the problem is they don't understand economics. Well, they don't understand this going to zero. And if you don't understand that, they don't understand why gold goes up and down. Or they think they don't understand it's paper derivatives driving it. Some people don't even understand what the derivatives are, that the derivatives are really only done by JP Morgan. Nobody in the right mind does it. And then they're bitching about ETFs are going down. Well, they're going down because we've said you don't want to own them. So of course they're going down. They're a Ponzi scheme, own physical gold. The part that they all miss is the physical gold part. They don't get me and you and Luke are buying physical gold. And it doesn't get tracked. So when me and you and Luke buy, and we pull money out of our bank, like I did, I moved all my money out of my bank and bought gold with it. And all you're going to see is one side. You're going to see my bank balance go down, and you're not going to see my gold balance go up. How can you? I'm buying with cash and putting it into my safe, which is not looked at, which is the whole point. So these guys, none of them are stoic. They're all salesmen. Alligator, I'm questioning. He's acting a little different lately, but he still thinks gold will go way up. He keeps saying, well, it's not gold going up. So now he's changed his tune. He must have listened to me, because now he says, well, it's not gold. It's normally not gold going up. It's the dollar going down. But in this case, it's the dollar going down and gold going up. So he's finally understanding the suppression that COMEX is having on the value of the gold, and that really it should be much higher. So he's needed somebody like me to explain it to him that we're getting a double kick. We're getting out of this for safety, and we're getting into gold. But since gold's been suppressed, gold will also go up. Even though we don't even care about that, we just care about getting out of the dollar. So then you get a day like today, and gold's down $30 or whatever for no reason. See, but psychologically, people don't want to go, see, look, it gold's down. No, it doesn't. That's not a real gold price. That's like saying this card goes down. This card does not go down. It's 50 count. You just won another Super Bowl. This card probably went up another couple $1,000s. Probably any Mahomes card went up. So what it does is winning the Super Bowl drives demand up. So who's selling it? And if there's more buyers than sellers, the price got to go up. And in the case of gold, who's selling gold? Who in their right mind is selling it? What are you selling it for? Stocks, bonds, real estate trust? Name one thing you would sell your gold for, or your silver. There's nothing. What would you sell? Why would you sell your gold? So it's only the derivatives, which are JP Morgan, selling it to keep the price down. And if we follow it to our stoic logical conclusion, it's so the Chinese and other central banks can buy as they get ready for the BRICS. See, that's my conclusion. BRICS is going to come out with their gold-backed currency soon. So China has COMEX. I think China is responsible for COMEX. China lowers their price when they want to buy whatever's left, and they can get it now at $19.91 instead of $2,050. They save $60 an ounce. That's why it's down. If we use logic, it's not because people are selling it. But most people don't even understand what gold is. They don't even understand it is money, as well as an asset. And all these idiots, they tell the wrong story. They'll sit there and say, there's no counterparty risk. Well, that's not a good explanation. The good explanation would be, oh, by the way, they can't print gold like they print. They can print 20 trillion, 30, 40 trillion of these. You can't do that with gold. That's what they should say. You can't print gold. Hence, you can't inflate gold. But since they don't know what inflation is, they can't say you can't print gold. They just say there's no counterparty risk. The fuck does that mean? See, the bank actually owns this. So the bank actually owes you, but you never see it. I just went to the grocery store and I got salmon on sale for $10, and then I got hamburgers. So really, I didn't take anything out of the freezer, so I went and got 3 pounds of hamburger, which I'm going to cook in the frying pan. I'm going to try that. I usually broil it, right? I'll make 9 hamburgers and broil it. Once in a while, sloppy Joe. Last time I made my chicken in the frying pan, it tasted good, so I'm going to try it with my hamburger. Not a lot. I'll just try like a pound and cook it in the frying pan, and then put my Ken's French on it, and some pepper and basil and turmeric and stuff like that. And then just shuffle it, or just throw it in there, not make patties. Just shuffle it, throw it. It'll be sort of like a sloppy Joe, or just cook it that way. That's what I do with the chicken. So I took the breasts and I cut them up. Anyway, but that's, see, you don't, why are they fucking the money up? Because they're printing it. That's why the dollar's losing value. It's very simple. I'm going to have the hamburger tonight. Yes, Bobby Bo. I also got like pork ribs, which I don't normally get. I normally get beef ribs, but they're only $3.29 a pound. I said, okay, it's $3.29. How can I go wrong? And I got 4 big big pork ribs. So they said, make them the same way you make the beef, or like a steak. I'm going to broil them, but I think that'll be later in the week. I got a salmon, which I'll have to cook tomorrow. And I got the hamburger, which I can make, have some of it for dinner, and then have the fish tomorrow. And the burger's fine. That you can save away for a few days. But with that said, so I sent Jenna some money for Valentine's Day, and Daria, like I said. So go buy Daria will buy some roses and some candy or whatever. I said, whatever you want to do with it. Get some. I want to give you roses, so at least get a few roses, and then go buy whatever. They like sweets, and then Jenna will buy. I said, go buy some flowers. So buy flowers and lipstick, she said. She's feeling a little better. She had a fever. Anyway, so this is the problem. They don't understand the dollar's a medium of exchange. I think that's the first rule that they don't get. They don't get what a medium of exchange is, and they don't get what inflation is, right? So you use the dollar because it's the medium of exchange. You go to work, they pay you in dollars, which you then can use to buy goods and services and groceries and going out to Chinese and all that stuff. That's what it is. It's the most desirable thing to use to get paid and to spend. But you're not supposed to fuck it up. And that's where the government thinks it's money. It's a medium of exchange. It's not really money per se. It's just something that you get paid for and you buy things for. Not necessarily money. Doesn't need to be money. It could have been flowers or seashells or whatever. Amsterdam, like I said, it used to be tulips. So you don't fuck it up. So this is what the government has no idea what their role is. Why would you ruin the dollar? What kind of government does that? What is the point? What is the point of the government? It's to represent. So the government's to represent me and you, Bobby, to do what we want, right? We're going to elect you to represent us. You're our representative. Yet all they do now is represent lobbyists who pay them a lot of money, so they vote the way they want. The banks put them in, so the banks control them. That's not representing us. What the fuck are you doing? So that's our biggest problem. And the whole thing is helter-skelter, which is forcing us to go to gold. So let's look at what's happening. So gold's down $25 today, $19.90. So superficially, if you don't know what's going on, you panic. Oh my God, gold's going down. This is why I don't buy it. This is why I sold it at 2050. Pat myself on the back. I got out at 2020 or whatever. And aren't I smart? And driving any demand away because you see it going down because you think it's a stock. You don't even understand what gold is. It's money that you can't fuck with, right? It can't be printed. There's only so much of it. And so as we teach, is there a market for it? Meaning, if I want to sell it, is there a buyer? Absolutely. There's a lot of buyers, all the central banks. Alligators now worried that we won't be able to buy gold because the central banks don't own it. Okay, so if the central banks are doing all this buying, what gold is left? Why is the value even going down? What does COMEX even have as far as how much gold is there that they still have some, right? So that's a big enough problem. See, this is what we don't know. I think ETFs held some gold, and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and Bank of America, I think they have some gold. And then how much is that SD bullion and my coin store, Bobby's coin store? And do we need to be actually sold out for the price to go up? No. Again, as long as there's more demand than supply, the price goes up. So what I'm saying is the demand go away. Absolutely not. Why is the price down? Something doesn't add up. The price shouldn't be down if demand is. So in the real world, if demand's down, if price is down, demand's down, more people are selling than buying. But because it's derivatives, JP Morgan's selling derivatives, and the person on the other end, the casino, as Mark McGuire would say, for some reason isn't buying. Usually this happens on a holiday or something when they can't buy, right? So I'm sure that's all it is. And to me, this is a very strong buying opportunity between gold and silver. So if we look at, silver's down to $21.99 and gold's at $19.91, down $27. There's absolutely no reason either are down. Silver valued, and this is where everybody gets frustrated, right? Mark McGuire or Alligator will say, oh, it's the cheapest metal in the world, and da-da-da-da-da. And yet, even though it's a cheap metal, why is it going down? Who's selling it? The demand is huge. You need it for batteries, for cell phones, for computers, TVs. Not counting, by the way, it's money, which people have a strange way of forgetting that. They think this is money. This isn't money. This is called fiat currency. It's bank printed, but it's not. It's an IOU. This is not money. This has no value, but people think it's worth $1. Okay. And then what they'll say is instead of inflation, they'll call it purchasing power. The purchasing power has dropped. And you know what the problem with that is? That's the same as saying counterparty risk. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. What is purchasing power? See, you can't use economic terms if you're not an economist. Also, without knowing who your audience is. I understand my audience. My audience wants to learn. They're adults. If I explain something that's an economic term, I define it at the time. So no counterparty risk means they can't print gold. So there's no inflation risk. Inflation is printing the dollars to zero and making them worth less. They'll say, well, it's not inflation, it's the loss of purchasing power. What's purchasing power? You guys have a fucking clue what purchasing power is? Not you guys, but does this guy, the idiots I just showed you, do any of them understand what purchasing power is? Absolutely not. They're still trying to tell you to buy stocks because they're cheap. I mean, that's the real funny part. They don't even understand the stock market's about to crash. This is the problem I have with the people I just showed you. Why is the stock market crashing? Because all the foreigners who own this money have it in stocks and bonds and real estate trusts and houses. And they want to get out of dollars, so they will sell everything they own in dollars and put it back in their own currency and or in gold. That's the difference. That's why it's going to crash. Plus, less people have less money. So therefore, they're not buying as much. So is Toyota stock going to go up when nobody can afford them and buy them? Or Lexus or GM and Ford, which are losing billions of dollars. Ford and GM are losing billions of dollars on their electric fiasco. Is their stock going to go up or down? They're losing money. Why would their stock go up? Right? Bobby Bo. Yeah, it looks like Mark McGuire, Egon, and Crocodile need to watch the class and learn. Well, I think Egon's the only one that actually gets it. Mark McGuire, you can see, he's a whistleblower, but he's not an economist. An alligator is really a stockbroker who then went into banking. And I think Mark McGuire's into banking too with his casino stuff. So they're giving you the view. They're giving you the view of a stockbroker, not an economist. Sort of like if somebody was explaining baseball and it was a fan's point of view, or it was a broadcaster's point of view, or it's your point of view because you played. And we would get three different views, but the view I'd want to hear is yours because you actually played. I played, but not professionally. I can understand it, and that's why I played a little bit of football, but I can speak it as if I'm a player. That's why I'm so good at analyzing, is because I can tell the skill sets. And I can say Lamar's no good and Mahomes is the best. You can say that because you know what you're looking for. So your insight of baseball is going to be different than a guy who watches it, who's never played it. And so therefore, when we're talking gold and silver and economics, an economist who learned it can tell you from a different aspect than a stockbroker or a Peter Schiff. Somebody selling gold like Andy Schechtman or this woman, whoever. They're not Austrian economists, and some might claim, like Andy Schechtman. Well, I read Austrian. Yeah, I had 12 classes in it, fella. You had maybe? Did you read a book? Do you know who Adam Smith is? Do you know what the invisible hand and laissez-faire is and Say's law? As you see, I don't need notes to do this. Although I do have notes to read. Oh yeah, let's look at the Great Depression again, and so I'm reading some stories from my class that's beneficial. But everything else, I don't need notes to tell you what inflation is or gold or any of that stuff because I'm a player. So this is the problem with all these people. They're not economists, so they don't understand that the stock market's going to crash because the dollar is going out, because they don't understand what inflation is. They think inflation is related to prices, and it's not. And this is where people will get like cost pull and cost push and demand pull and everything. Basically, inflation is printing the money. And then the type of inflation, so if you print the money and the prices haven't gone up yet, it's demand pull. Do I give a fuck it's demand pull? No. Do I give a fuck that they printed the money and the prices haven't gone up yet? No. Do I give a fuck that when they print the money, the prices go up faster? No. I'm listening to the lady, Lynette, telling me what hyperinflation is. Oh, really? And you're going to go with that, even though you're wrong. Hyperinflation is when the public panics. And they go, as I said, they get paid and they run and buy tuna, milk, and bread before the price goes up. And it's a hyper scenario like the Titanic, when everybody understands finally the boat's going to sink and they all run to the lifeboats. And when they all run to the lifeboats, that's the hyper part. of the inflation or when the boat sinks. So when everybody realizes the money's worthless and everybody runs into gold and everybody gets out of the dollar and nobody wants it, that's hyperinflation. Not fast inflation. It's the people panicking is the hyper part. They're going hyper. They're, oh my God, we got to get out of, we got to go buy and buy and buy, and the money's worthless. And so the whole protection of that is the gold and silver. So we know what's coming. That's what I'm telling you. So on a day like this, when the fucking thing's down $30, $40 or $25, whatever, it's a huge buying opportunity. I'm tempted to go run and buy 20 ounces of silver today, down to 22. Oh, it popped back up to 22. It was 21.97. And now it's 22.05. Yeah, 22.05, 1992. But you don't know 1992 or 22.05 is the bottom. It shouldn't be that. You don't know what the bottom is because it's not market. So you can't take things out of the market. So now we get to another scenario, which is what the market is. The market is what somebody sells something for and somebody buys it. Go to the grocery store. I buy avocado. They were 10 for 10 for 10. So if I bought 10, they were $1 a piece. So I bought 10 of them. So I eat them every day. That's a market, right? And it's a real market. It's not done by derivatives. It's done by people putting them for sale and people buying them. And in gold, that's not what you have. Nobody is selling gold. They are selling paper gold. This whole thing is an illusion of paper. This is strictly a paper market. It is somebody writing a derivative, lowering the price, somebody buying it. They are going long, which means they think the price will go up. So that's all this is. So this is just options going down and options coming up. Somebody thinking it's going to go down, and their brothers, JP Morgan's betting them that, driving the price down, and then somebody at Bank of America's buying them, and they're just divvying up the profit, which is totally illegal. I don't know why this is allowed. It's been proven in court that price fixing many times. It's obvious. So what you would think is, if I don't have my physical gold, well, let's say this is gold. I should get the gold just on principle. So let's say this is gold. It's not, but I love my casino chips. This is physical. So this $5 Caesar's Palace chip, it's retired because it's old. I put it on sale. Somebody buys it. That's physical. You physically own this chip. It's in your hand. It's physical. That is not what the gold price is. It's not physical. It's a paper price. It's somebody, JP Morgan, doing a derivative to lower the price. People don't own the derivatives. This idiot that said people own derivatives or ETF, they're like, why are ETFs going down? Because they're not physical. This is the only way to win, is to have physical gold and physical silver. We'll call this silver. But it's the Stardust. It's adorable. I always loved the Stardust. Driving by and the sign would light up. It was always so pretty. So this we'll call gold. This we'll call silver. But it's physical. If you own it, it goes up. But they're not owning it. They are printing derivatives. So how these idiots are saying, oh, people own derivatives. You don't own a derivative. You know gold's going up because you know the dollar's going out. So let's go back to economics. This, if you keep printing it, will go to zero because you've printed too many, which will even take back to Reggie. If you print 5 million of these things, these are worth $1 a piece. If you print 50 of these, then it's worth 5,000. But if you didn't print 50, if there's a million of his regular card, they're worth $5. Why is this one worth more than that? Because you've only printed 50. Hence, it's more limited. So hence, because you've printed God knows how many, apparently 130 trillion of these, there is no value left. That's why it's not worth anything, right? It's worthless. And if you understand that, why would you be in a derivative for gold? You would sell your dollars to buy gold. I mean, it's a very obvious synopsis of what to do, right? Sell your dollars, buy gold, and off you go. So I'm not really understanding who would be buying a derivative or why you'd buy an ETF. An ETF is like a stock, electric fund transfer. So it's like a stock. Why would you be in that? You're in paper. You're not in physical. So if you're in an ETF, you don't have this. You're in this. So an ETF is still there, not this. So when I warn everybody to not be in ETFs, and they warn everybody, of course, you get out of that into this. So of course the ETFs are going down. Who would buy them? You got to be out of your mind to buy them. You've got to get into physical. So this is the problem. That's why ETFs are down. That's why stocks are down. And that's why I'm sure gold is up. Only how do you tally Howard and Bobby and Luke going to the coin store and buying gold? You can't. You have no way of knowing I bought it. This is the point. So you can't. You're missing one end of the equation. It's like the go for it on fourth down. You only say 52% of the time you make it, so it's good, so go for it. Like 52% of the times are good. It's not good enough for me. If it doesn't say 70 in front of it, I ain't doing it. But then they don't say, well, if you miss, you lose the game. And notice in the Super Bowl, nobody went for a fourth down. Nobody fake punted. Amazing how only Lions seem to do that, and that's why they didn't get in the Super Bowl. It must have been real frustrating for the Lion players and the fans to think, if only we didn't have an idiot for a coach who keeps going on fourth down, we had a 24-7 lead. If we just kicked the field goal to go up 17 and or we kicked the field goal to tie the game, maybe we win in overtime, we could have been in the Super Bowl. So we did not go to the Super Bowl because they weren't good. They went because they have an idiot coach. All right. Same thing here. Why would you buy ETFs? Why would you stay in dollars? But the tracking device for this is not the tracking device for physical gold. 1992. Oh, it's coming up. 22. This is not the physical price. This is not, oh, I bought some or I sold some like on eBay with my Mahomes card. It's not the same thing. There is no market for that. Hence, this is not indicative of the supply and demand for gold. This is only paper and it's only derivative. So why do these idiots, Maloney and all these Peter Schiffs and all these other guys, Rick Rude, why do all of them go back to this paper price? Why do they think paper price is the real price of gold? It isn't. It's not close to it. It's producing a lot more gold than there is in physical world. So there's 50 of these, but if we did derivatives, We could do derivatives where they're doing like 5,000 of these. But no, there's only 50. So why are they doing derivatives for, 5,000 or ETFs or, 20,000 to 1 ounce or something like that? And so the first concept that all these idiots are missing is that this is a paper derivative price. This is not the 250,000 ton price. This is derivatives selling far more than 250,000 tons, but there isn't more, and the price is not accurate. So when you see this price like here, the first concept you understand is got to get out of the dollar because they print too much. Get into gold, physical, can't print it, right? If there's 50, that's all there is. They cannot print this to have more gold. It's only what they dug out of the mines. Okay. So when you see this price go down, it's a paper price, not a physical price. Nobody's selling, everybody's buying, preparing for the end of the dollar, which is this close from happening. And because of BRICS, it's going to happen very soon because all these countries want to get out of the dollar because they're sick and tired of being controlled by the US, and they're going to get out of the dollar and go to the BRICS, and the BRICS dollar will be backed by gold. But since it's physical gold, there's only so much of it out there. They can't fuck around with it, and they need a much higher price. So we know that's where the ship's heading, right? We know the paper is not real. So why do we give a shit if the price goes down $30? If the price goes down 30, it's a buying opportunity. So in my mind, China's behind this. China understands this manipulation. And they go, you know what? I want to buy more gold. So I'm going to do derivatives to lower the paper price because I can't lower the physical price because nobody in the right mind is going to sell any of it. Nobody sells physical gold unless a very small amount is sold because you need money. So as these idiots inflate away our money to zero, you can either be an idiot and stay in the money and go, well, I'm going to hold on to my money until it goes to zero. I'm going to stay on the Titanic. I know the water's running in, but I'm going to stay on the ship until it sinks. And then I'll figure out what to do. That's what you're doing here. I'm going to stay in money until it's worthless. It's going to be worthless. I'm telling you, get out of the boat now. Get out of the dollar now. It's worthless now. But nobody's telling you but me. And so, you listen to all these other idiots. So because of that, well, you don't really know, do you? Because you're hearing Maloney say one thing and Rick Rude say another and Peter Schiff say another and Lynette Zing say another. But they all say the same thing. And then here comes the professor telling you what's really happening. So it's up to you to decipher who's right and who's wrong, what makes sense and what doesn't. And that's why I explain it the way I do. Because I know it's confusing because you're going, well, shit, I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about gold. And so I get to the base, but I explain it. So then I see it and I tell you and I show you what I say to them. They're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about, and they're misleading people, which really pisses me off because I'm here to teach, and then you're teaching my students different things. And again, Maloney and all these idiots are looking at the paper price and they don't even call it out. They don't say it, by the way, this is the derivative paper price. Don't pay any attention to it. But it is good if you want to buy physical. If you want to buy physical at the paper price and the price is going down, this is the sale of the century right now. You can buy this gold, which is going to, Alligator said or Mark McGuire said 3,000 soon, and that'll be the bottom, and then it goes up. And this is the problem, because Mark McGuire says 3,000, then you see it go down to 1991. You're like, what the fuck? This is strictly paper gold being sold, and then the other party who would normally buy it must have a holiday or something today. I don't know. What is it? Valentine's Eve or something? So this is a one-sided thing, but it's not people selling physical. This going down has got nothing, nobody's selling it. They'll say, well, the economic data is strong. The inflation's down. Oh, if that's down, then we don't need gold. Well, the inflation can't be down. You printed at least 20 trillion here, and then you've got 140 trillion outside the US. I mean, how the fuck is there not inflation through the roof? But you know what? If they tell you it's 3%, you believe it. How can it be? How can that be possible? So it isn't, and that's a big part of it. So understanding that, you buy on days like today. And so when I go into the gold store, he goes, how come nobody comes in to buy on these days except for you? And I guess because they don't understand except for me, because I know this is going to 20,000 an ounce for gold and 2,000-3,000 for silver. I know that's where it's headed. Now, I don't know, 6 months, a year, somewhere out there, the dollar's collapsing. It already has, but the government, you're looking at Biden and the morons don't want to let go of it. So they're going to propaganda it like Joseph Goebbels and just sit there and go, oh, no, everything's fine. Everything. I imagine, what did Germany say in the 1920s when they hyperinflated their dollar to pay for the wars? Why they did it, right? They were on gold. They got off the gold standard to print the money to pay the debt that they had for World War I. That's why theirs collapsed. And they were printing 1 billion marks a day. And at what point did everybody say, I don't want it anymore? And that's what we're waiting for, when they don't want the dollar anymore. And you can see the de-dollarization. You can see half the countries don't want to use it. You can see the BRICS, Russia and China and Saudi Arabia, they don't want it. They're already, Russia can't use US dollars, so they've created this new currency. Saudi Arabia, with all their oil, and United Arab Emirates, with all their oil, don't want to get paid in dollars that are worthless. Why should I give you oil for a candy wrapper? I mean, that's insane. That's the problem they're having. So they're quickly coming up with a gold-backed currency to pay for the oil, and that's what's coming. Now, I see oil going up, so maybe it's getting close. I see this. This is probably the last straw of them buying gold, so they're running the derivatives through to lower the price, to buy it cheap before the shit hits the fan. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is it. This is what we've been waiting for, Bobby. The gold price to go to, it'll go to 3, which will get it to 5, which will get it to 10. Because once it hits 3, the frenzy begins. And it won't be hyperinflation. It'll just be everybody realizing the dollar's worthless and buying gold. So I don't know that, they want to name everything, right? Hyperinflation, disinflation, deflation. Deflation's, it's the price is going down. It's not deflation. Its price is going down. It's not like your asset's worth less. So let's say this is worth 5,000, and now you can only get, look at the Brady card, right? It was 18,000 a little while ago, and now it's 7,000. Did the Brady card go down? No, if you just wait, people not having money to buy assets is all it is. Their money is focused on food and clothing and shelter. Pay my rent, eat, pay my utilities. That's what they're focused on. And as we switch to gold, see, so the medium of exchange is getting killed. This is going to zero. Well, how am I supposed to work? What am I supposed to get paid in? And then how am I supposed to go get food and groceries and pay my rent if this has no value and everything is going up? You know, Daria, oh, roses are 280 rose or 280 dollar. Yeah, it's like 60 rubles or something. And she's like, well, you know, I didn't know the price went up. The price didn't go up. The inflation, the value of your ruble and or dollar has gone down. And that's what people need to wake up to. It's the value of the dollar dropping, not the hamburger going up to $8 or the Coca-Cola $3 for a 2-liter. It has nothing to, they did not raise their prices. But you're used to seeing things priced, so you're looking at it as how much does it cost? Oh, it's $2 for a Coke. Now it's $3 for a Coke. You just think the value of the Coke went up, right? They increased the price. They're charging more. That's what you see it as. That's how you think about it. And it's totally wrong because you don't understand the mechanism of what are you using to pay for it? Oh, dollars. You think dollars are fixed. You think there's $1 trillion and it's been $1 trillion and it's continuing to be $1 trillion. And therefore the value of the dollar is stable. It's these prices of Coke and Fritos and Oreos that have gone up. And that's where I'm the only person explaining that to you. No, the dollar is not stable. The dollar is being printed, losing value. It's the dollar losing the value, not Oreos and Coke raising their prices. But who's going to tell you that? So you think a dollar, it says 1 on it, or 10 or 20, you know, oh, it's $100, and you think, well, it's $100. You don't get that. It's you don't get that. It's really not. You know, it's really not worth $100, and that's where they'll come up with purchasing power, because it's not stable and it's been printed. It's not worth as much, was what they should say. To say purchasing power, you assume everybody knows what purchasing power is, and nobody knows what purchasing power is. You could say inflation, but you're probably told not to say inflation, or you'll be canned from whatever. And that's probably why you don't say inflation. But if you say the purchasing power is down, nobody knows what that means. Just like when Mark McGuire, the ring fence casino, nobody knows what he's talking about. It's a terrible way to say it because you don't know. I think what he's trying to say is, JP Morgan, you've got these derivative guys selling today, and then the casino is going to be the buyers, and they're going to buy the derivatives, and then all the people that are short doing the derivatives are going to lose their ass because the gold price won't go down. And this isn't even really what today's gold price. This is what the March contracts or the June contracts. I mean, it's all derivatives, so it's got nothing to do with reality. It's something that the March contract is this, not today's price, and nobody's selling, but that's what's misled. You think people are selling gold today. Nobody's selling gold. There's a few people that need the money that sell the gold. But the central banks aren't selling the gold. They're the biggest buyers. Problem is the disconnect of the physical market. So the problem is that this is not reflected in the gold price, right? The 1991 is not reflected for me buying or selling. I could buy 5 tons and the price wouldn't go up, or I could sell 5 tons and the price wouldn't go down because of what I did. Right? That's the stupidity of it. It's not tracked by actual purchases and sales. So when the central banks are buying, it's not doing it all based on derivatives. This is the stupidest system. It's totally corrupt. It's totally illegal. And yet because the banks run everything, they just keep going. However, what we need is what we've gotten is competition, which is Russia and Putin and BRICS will then get a physical market where it will be based on me and Bobby and Luke buying and or selling. And that's what will end up happening. So it'll be a eBay market for gold and silver, which is what we want. We're just lucky we can buy it at this 1991 or over 22. When they say it's the most undervalued asset is because it's being bought at a greater portion and the price should be going up, right? The demand for silver is huge. Why is it down 64 cents today? Who is selling it? Who's selling silver and to whom? Right? The guys go right to the mine to buy it. Okay. They're not going back to the mine to sell it. There is no sale. I mean, nobody is selling silver and nobody is selling gold, except for a few people are selling the gold back to the coin store to get money because they need money. That's it. That's your sale, is going to the coin store and selling 2 ounces. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I can't believe it's still going on and that people actually let it go on. But you need a physical market, not this bullshit derivative market. And yet the people, Maloney's and all these Andy Scheckmans and all these guys are fucking just clueless. They think this is the real price of gold and silver. Now, the fact is we don't have a real price. There is no physical price for gold. However, it's certainly not the paper price. This is not the physical price of gold either. So there's a quandary where people would just do derivatives. And if you need a gold or silver, you go to the mines for it. And then here comes people like us, and we want to own it. We want to buy it. We understand. I'm educated in gold. It's an asset that's very limited. That's worth a lot more than this $2,000. The light goes on for us. We go, fuck, we know this is worth a lot more. We know silver at 22 or 23 is a joke. We know it's worth $500, $600, $1,000 easily. Why is it 22? Who's keeping this value so low that everybody agrees it's the most undervalued commodity on earth? And this is the problem. So you see a day like today, it's fantasy. Nobody is selling gold to lower the price to $30, right? That's a fact, Jack. Nobody's selling this much gold. It is only paper. And that's where people get fucked up. Because they're allowed to be criminals and to do this with gold and silver to keep the price artificially low for 2 reasons. One, they don't want competition of the dollar because this is the most Ponzi scheme thing in the world, is putting your money in the banks or Wall Street. They all make all this money off of you because you think this is real and you don't know about gold. So you don't get out of it. So the Ponzi scheme is keep you in the banks, keep you out of gold to keep you in dollars. That's the Ponzi scheme. So they do that. And by this idiot lowering the price, you're like, oh, I don't want to be in gold. Look, it's down $30 today. It's fantasy. It's not real. It's not, nobody's selling. All the central banks are buying tons and tons and tons of gold. Thousands of tons, right? And China and Russia, everybody's buying, but yet the price isn't showing. It's the only product in the world that you keep buying and the price doesn't go up. I guarantee you go buy chocolate milk and the price will go up, or as long as there's demand for something, and it's really best shown here, right? If you have demand and there's only 50 of these of the Mahomes card, if there's more demand, economics, supply and demand, more demand, price goes up. Well, all the demand you have in gold, the price, like I said, should be 5,000 an ounce at least right now. I'm assuming 10 or 20. Silver cannot be $22 an ounce based on real demand for real physical. And that's the product, but it doesn't benefit people that need silver for electric batteries or for purposes of building, not money, but the commodities they use silver for, like TVs and computers and cell phones, where they need silver, they need a cheap price. So they are keeping the price down to use it, which is bullshit. Price is dictated by the market. So what you have here, if we go back to Adam Smith, what did we see? We saw in that one YouTube video, which I highly, highly recommend, they're in the bakery and they're ordering cupcakes and then the guy next door sees that everybody wants cupcakes. So he then gets into it. He sees what demands that. Again, in Say's law, you make money, you're the supply of money, and you're the one demanding cupcakes or donuts. And then they make it for you because you're demanding it. So they have a product out there and you start buying it. You like it, you buy more of it. The price goes up based on demand, and then competition comes in. The guy next door, the baker, he starts making it. He starts undercutting because he wants a bit of the profit that people are coming in to buy it. And then the farmers start making the wheat needed to make the donuts, let's say. But you have a market. You do not have a market. There is no market for this. There is no physical price, so there is no market. I mean, how can there not be a market for gold and silver? This is insane, but there isn't one. The paper market has got nothing to do with this. It's purely derivatives. It's purely options. Not even for that, but if you understand options, there's a strike date and everything. So it's going out 30 or 60 days. That's what this is. This is going out for the March contracts. That's all this is. It's not for this. There is no fucking market, if you can believe, for gold or silver. How can this be? How can they not create a market? How corrupt is our business in our economy, in our world, that they don't have a market for gold and silver? This is fucking insane. And the bigger part is that you go to the coin stores and they're using the paper derivative price. They're not even smart enough to come up with their own market. So we buy it because we know this market's full of shit, but we really don't know the price of gold and silver in the real market because there isn't one. So we look at the paper market and where they get their prices, pulling it out of their ass. They don't know. It's totally corrupt. It's totally bullshit. So therefore, it can't possibly go down because in the real market, the demand is huge. All the central banks are buying it because they know the dollar's going out. So that's your real big signal. You don't know anything. I don't know anything. We're all full of shit. But what we do know is I'm not. I know, but this is an analogy. Nobody knows anything, but central banks are buying it because they know. Why would they buy it? Because they know this is going to zero. So if they have dollars in the central banks and they're all selling these to buy gold, they know the dollar's going out. So we just follow their lead. Now, again, that was hypothetical. We know what's going on. I know what's going on exactly. And I'm telling you, and you know exactly what's going on. What I'm saying is, even if there wasn't me and we're just people, what do? We're smart enough to look at what the central banks are doing. And we get that from Alligator and Egon, who are telling us all the central banks are buying, the central banks are buying. Okay, so let's get stoic. Why are the central banks buying? Because the dollar's going out. And we know the dollar's going out. So if the dollar's going out, and we know the dollar's going out, The only thing you can buy is gold because it's the only other asset that doesn't need everything else is paper. So the only thing that's left is gold. So you're going to buy gold. And therefore, we don't know what the price is, but we don't think this is the real price. And that's my argument with all these guys. I don't think 1991 is the real price. Coca-Cola went from 2 to 350. I don't think gold should be coming down with this inflation because it means is the dollar, the value of this has gone down. The purchasing power, the value, the inflation, this is worth less. Let's put it in English. This has lost all its value. So how could gold not be going up? Oh, good economic data, they say. Oh yeah, the inflation's coming down. You still have no value in your dollar. It's still inflated to zero. It's not like all of a sudden it has a value. It doesn't work like that. If you print and print and print, guess what? It loses value. So I don't know what this quantitative tightening is. What are they getting money in and burning it? I doubt that. Where are you getting that from? So maybe that's part of it, but I doubt it. And you've got too much. You're printing way too much dollars that I'm going to buy that argument that we're doing quantitative tightening, which probably means they're not printing as much. But I doubt they're actually grabbing it and burning it. And you'd have to burn trillions and trillions of dollars to get it back to where it might have a value. So basically, you have no value of the dollar. So why would gold be going down and silver? So because there's no market for gold and silver, these prices are bullshit, which we understand. So when they go down, we're like, well, let's see, central banks buying, Russia, China buying, BRICS buying, India buying. Who's selling? Who's selling the gold to drive the price down? In a free market, right? So any market, this only goes down if I put it for sale and nobody buys it. Like the Brady card, right? Was 18,000, so somebody bought it for 18, and now you see it for 7,100. What does that mean? Well, that's what the new auction brought in. The new market is only 7,100. So I had the card, and I do have the card, and I go to sell it on eBay, and I get 7,000. That's the new market. That's the value of the Brady card in my market. It doesn't mean that's the value of it, but in my auction, that's what it got. In another auction, now if they all start getting 7,100, we lower the value to 7,100 because that's the market dictates. Prices are knowledge based on what the market will give them. So it's the same thing. So we're looking at cards. We can look at Canadian Club. We can look at avocados. It's up for sale. Will the public, will the market buy it? So when it comes to gold, there's so much buying going on. It's ridiculous. How is prices going down? I mean, that makes well, not only that, but we don't even have a market for it. And so again, people got to be careful selling into, so I'm a gold store and people come in and I go, well, here's, it's 1991 is the spot, which is totally ridiculous. So some guy sells it and I get 5 ounces, 1991. Then I put a premium on it. So I'm selling them for 2,100 and somebody comes in to buy it. That whole thing is false because the 1991 is not right. The 2021 is not necessarily where the market's at. Kind of indirectly it is because people are buying it at a market, but it's a phony market. It's based on the paper is how you're deriving the price in the first place. And the price is not 1991 is not a real price, which is what I keep saying. So when I go buy gold at 2075 for my Cougarans and my Maple Leafs and everything, and I'm dancing out of the store because I know that's not a right price. That's the point a lot of people don't get. There is no way $19.91 or $22 for silver is the actual price. It is the paper price. We don't know what the real physical price is. Hence, I believe it's much higher because I believe all this bullshit going on today, where this thing went thud down at looks like 9 o'clock, based on the London bullshit. So to see the price go down, I know that's not real. So therefore, I'll go buy more gold at 1991 because I know that's bullshit price. Yet it's theoretically at market. I'm going to buy at a price that he's selling it for, but the price he's selling it for is not correct. So I don't care that it went to 19. In my mind, oh, it's 1991. It's a sale. It's on sale. Because it was 2050, it was 2070. What's driving the price down? Nothing. Nothing in the market except for the derivatives in the paper are driving the price of the gold down. But that's not market driven. It's the paper market, but I'm not dealing in the paper market. I'm dealing in the physical world, the physical universe that we live in. This does not have a market. A real market like this. Okay, this has a real market. I go on eBay, whatever I get, and this doesn't. I can't go on eBay with this because I got this in my way saying, oh, it's 1990, 93. Oh, it's moving up. I can't see your I can't think of the word. You're misled by that 1993. So I can't really get the real price of gold. That's what I'm worried. If we didn't have that price, or if COMEX blows up, and then I go on eBay and I put a $10,000 out there, I have a good chance I'll get it. Once the hyper of the boat sinking happens, then you're going to see it go past 10 like this, because there won't be enough for people to buy. See, right now, all the sales are going to the central banks, and there's me and you buying it, which aren't being picked up. But then multiply it by everybody in the world who has money, who their dollars are being worthless. The BRICS, the pounds, the Swiss francs, US dollar are all worthless, but they don't know it yet. So this is the beauty of what these assholes in government do. They mislead you and corrupt you, so you don't even realize that you're being fucked over. That's the biggest problem. And that's what they're doing to you. That's why the dollar's worthless, is the government. And why does the government have a monopoly? The government should be printing money. And this is bank money. This is Federal Reserve bank money. And it's a monopoly by JP Morgan. Why would you give this to a monopoly? So if you had it competitive, then you could say, well, that's you printed too much of that. I'm going to this one. But here's where BRICS comes in, and BRICS saves the day because they're going to compete. They're going to come out with a BRICS dollar, but it's going to be backed by gold. So what would you want? Aha, competition comes in, and the dollar can't compete with gold, and it'll go out as people will not demand it anymore and want it anymore. And that's what we're waiting for. And nobody knows the exact time of it. That's the problem. That's what I keep getting asked. When? I can tell you that when they do announce the gold-backed BRICS is the when. That's it. It's all over. I think it could be over when Saudi Arabia and Russia announce they want gold for their oil, which is coming out. So when that happens, and the way Putin was, I don't talk to Biden. Why would I talk to him? What do I got to say to him? So once all this gets out there, we're waiting on several things that could give us a home run right away. But what we really want is a physical market, right? We want a physical market for this. Give me a physical, just like I have a physical for this. That's all I'm asking for. And I guarantee you, if this is 5,000, you don't think this is 5,000? You don't think gold's worth more than a Mahomes 50 count? And not only that, but it is money. So what money would you want to hold? Do you want to hold dollars or do you want to hold gold? The other problem is they want to come out with whatever the CBDC or digital money or all this bullshit. We don't need any of it. We're just going to be in gold and silver. We want to eat. We can't. We go to the store with silver and we go, well, use this. That's really what'll be happening. Bobby Bo. A lot of people need to get their head out of their asses and go buy metals. Well, but because a lot of people don't know to do that, Bobby Bo. I mean, look at the Titanic. It hit an iceberg and they still went back to bed. I'm going to have a brandy and wake me in the morning. And they still, the boats hit and they still don't get it. I agree with you, Bobby Bo, but where are you going to get the news? If you don't listen to me, you can't even explain it to your family that they need to buy it. How are you going to get other people to do it? And there's nothing we can do. We can only do this. We can only get on the internet and get out and say, hey, this is what you need to do. But nobody's going to realize purchasing power is inflation. And if you print the dollar, it'll be worthless. Nobody understands that. And then you watch these Lynette Zings and Andy Scheckmans and Peter Schiff's, and they don't help you. They can't explain it. They can't explain it's a paper dollar. So the biggest thing you can say is the dollar, if you print too much, goes to zero. And the only alternative is gold, not another currency. You can't go to another currency because none of them are worth anything, because none of them are backed by gold, and they're all printed. So what does the euro give us money? So the inflation isn't high. I mean, that's all bullshit. So I think the biggest factor is nobody realizes the dollar is worthless. I think that's the biggest factor of the whole thing that nobody gets. It's worthless. It has no value. And then they don't get the only thing to get into is gold and silver. And then they don't get that the gold and silver is cheap because it's not even a market for it. It's a paper market. There is no physical market for gold and silver. How the fuck does that happen? And yet there isn't one. So therefore, you don't even know what the real price is. I'm sure it's much, much higher, but you'll never see it because it's tainted on eBay, or you go to the store, they're using the paper gold price, which is highly inflated because the derivatives are like 1,000 ounces to one. So they're short selling, like all the gold they're short selling today is probably, 1 million tons, but there's only 250,000 tons available, but they're selling more than the 250,000 tons, which is totally illegal and why it's being done. But the problem is there's no physical market. It doesn't exist, even though when we go to buy it at the coin store on JD Bullion or somewhere, when we go to buy it, they're dumb enough to give us the paper prices on it. And we're smart enough to realize the paper prices aren't accurate. And that's what I keep saying. They're inflated prices because when they do the derivative, it's for several more ounces than they have. And again, our light at the end of the tunnel is bricks, because it involves real gold-backed currency, physical. It's a physical gold now. It's gold to back the currency, so the currency's strong. Competition for the paper gold that we use, and this is the problem when you got a corrupt government, and the problem with communism and Keynesianism, which is the same thing, government running everything. It doesn't benefit government to have a gold price. Government benefits by having this, where they can print as much as they want, and they can control the banks, and they can control Wall Street, which is people putting their money in there into the black hole thinking they're going to get rich, right? Let's go to Attack on Wall Street. I love the movie. Again, he put 60,000 in. You promised me that I'd get 8% return and no risk. And this is why he put 60 grand into the real estate trust. He was promised. He should sue based on the guy promised him that. So that's the first thing. So what is he doing though? He's going after making money without risk. I'm going to make 8 to 10% in real estate. And when he doesn't, and it collapses and it's worthless, that's part of the Ponzi scheme, right? What happened to Madoff? At the end of the Ponzi scheme, everybody was broke. At the real estate bubble of 2008, everybody went broke. Because the banks run the government, the banks could bail themselves out. Why didn't the government bail out all the Madoff people? Why didn't the government bail out the Attack on Wall Street people? They should have been bailed out. Why don't they just bail out everybody? They'll just print more money. So this is the real problem. There's no market, and therefore why I dance. I'm singing and dancing to my car when I buy gold and silver is because I know I don't believe that this 1991 price is real. I believe it's much higher, and we know silver 22 is much higher. So therefore, we can't get stuck in the game. Oh my God, it's down. Oh, it's going down. I'm going to lose all my money. It'll go to zero and da 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 da, which is impossible. And it doesn't matter. It's in paper. But the key is, how does the price get set based on the market, which is all the central bank buying clearly dominates over gold going down. So even if it drops a little bit more, it'll be bought by all the central banks, Russia and China included, in India. They're all buying gold. Saudi Arabia, who doesn't want gold? Why are all the central banks buying gold if it's not a good thing? Why does Putin own 32,000 tons of it if it's not a good thing? So you can't sell me that it has no demand and it's not a good thing based on everything we're seeing of people buying it. And all the central banks getting out of the dollar because they know it's going to crash. And this is the problem. But we know this. You know this. I know this. I'm teaching it to you, so you know it. You now know. Your eyes have been lit up. I've gotten you out of the matrix. Let's put it that way. So you took the pill, and now you see what's really going on, and you're pissed, as I am. And that's why I'm doing this, because I've opened my eyes were open in 1995, thank God. But that's what's really going on, and is as much gold as you can buy is what you buy. So you keep buying it. The dollar's on its last leg, and we know that. So that's all we can do is just get out of the way, and that's what we do. So if you understand what's going on, you'll be okay. The people that don't understand are the people that are, for lack of a better term, the Titanic, who aren't getting off the boat. And that's what Bobby's referring to, that they got to get their heads out of their asses. It's the people who are still on the Titanic who are clueless that the boat's sinking, right? That's the real problem. They're clueless, the boat's sinking. They don't know what to do. And or they're still in non-gold, non-physical gold. They're in paper gold, ETFs, stocks. These people are also headed for trouble. They don't know it. That's why the ETFs are down, because we're speaking up saying you can't own ETFs. You must own physical. And that's why the ETFs are going down, because the people are running out of them. They're just not able to capture people who buy the physical like me and you. So when I buy 5-10 ounces of gold, nobody knows I bought it. So when Alligator does his stupid analysis, he's so far off. Only 1% of the portfolio. I have no fucking idea. You can't make that comment. Based on what? Based on stocks? I mean, who has stocks in a portfolio anymore? My portfolio is basically no stocks, no bonds, nothing in the bank. Oh, by the way, we got 99% in gold and silver, 1% of cash in the safe, and our Mahomes card, and our Brady, and our Mantle, and da 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 da. But Alligator's not going to see that portfolio. He has no idea. People with baseball cards, I'm sure, buy gold and silver. You have no idea. You have no idea what's owned, and you can't make those stupid comments that Alligator's making. Well, if we have more, you probably have a lot more than 1% in gold and silver and baseball cards and collectibles and diamonds and Rolexes. I'm sure it's a lot more than that. People aren't stupid. Plus, they like to diversify anyway. But my way of diversifying is different gold and different silver from different countries. That's how I diversify, not that. But, I was watching some guy today, and he said the same. He said, when the stock market's up because it's 5 stocks, basically raising the stock market, that's disastrous. Most of it's based on inflated money. So they're printing money, putting it into these stocks, making them worth more. And then you think the guys are rich. You think, Elon Musk is rich. He's not rich. His stock makes him rich. But when his stock goes to zero, he ain't gonna have any money. The same thing with Gates and Warren Buffett and all these guys. They're really not rich. They're just rich in their stocks. And when they tank because they're way overvalued, guess what happens? Yeah, kangaroo, maples, and Krugerrands. Yep, that's diversification, Bobby. And silver, Philharmonics, Eagles. Yeah, there you go. And then like the neat ones, like I have the kangaroo from Australia. I have a 1/2 ounce kangaroo. I like that one. It's small though. It looks like sometimes confuse it for the 1/4 ounce. And then I'm off in my target. I'm going, how am I off a 1/4 ounce? And then I realize it's a 1/2 ounce. But yeah, I mean, that's how you diversify. But then are you ever worried with your gold and silver? Do you ever, like today, do you really think it went down, or are you worried it went down and won't come back up? Do you ever worry? I mean, absolutely not. You shouldn't have a worry in the world that this has happened, right? To me, this is a buying opportunity. If I had more money, if I was working, I'd be buying gold today, 1991. So let's see what gold is on eBay. I like how I have this watch list. So here you go. Maple Leaf 2079, Krugerrand 2075, and then the Eagles 2112. So I mean, I think I paid like 1,700 for a lot of these and a lot of these, and probably 1,800 for these back over the year. But I didn't buy it at 1,800 to sell it at 21. I'm collecting gold ounces. I want as many ounces as I can get because I don't buy this prices anywhere close to reality, right? See, that's our strategy, right? Mine and yours is that this price is not reality, but we can buy it at this low price. That's a paper price. We look at demand. We understand what a market is. We look at demand with central banks, Russia, China, and what's coming with BRICS. And we go, well, this price has got to go way up. Then we listen to McGuire and Alligator and Egon, and they're all, oh, it'll be a minimum of 3,000. Well, why would I sell it at 2,100? And 3,000 goes to 5,000 because once the cat's out of the bag, the people start going, oh, fuck, gold really is a good investment. So right now, they're brainwashing everybody by it goes from 2,100, now it's at 1990, or just even today, it down $20, $30. People are going, oh, I don't want to buy gold. I don't want it. Look at it, it's going down, and they don't even understand why it's going down. And they don't understand it's phony. It's a price fix. It's not really going down. It's simply derivatives being sold to drive the price down so China and Russia can buy it at these low prices. China runs it, and basically they're like, we want to buy another 1,000 tons. Let's lower the price, right? That's exactly what's happening. So if you understand that, you would go from there. And then I'm never for one day have worried that my gold price is going to go down. I'm going to lose money on it. Never, and since 1995 have I ever worried about that. This I bought for $500, and so I think Greg asked me what is it worth, and I told him it's worth 3/4 of an ounce. So if the ounce is $2,000, it's worth $1,500. So that's what it's worth now. I paid $5 for it. Now I didn't buy it for an investment. I bought it because it was a graduation gift to myself, and that's why I get neat Christmas gifts because I buy for myself. So it works out well. But that's really the point of it is you're really buying. You don't have worry. And then you can see the light at the end of it. You can see BRICS coming out with the gold-backed currency. You can see all these countries wanting to get out of the dollar. So your risk of staying in the dollar is huge, but you don't realize it. You got your money in the bank. You go, I got 300 grand in the bank. I'm safe. And that's the poor people that are going to get really crushed. The people that don't have. So when I talked to Jenna's friend, Natasha, and she says, well, I want to buy gold, but I don't have any money. She's not going to get hurt. She doesn't have anything to get hurt with. It's the guy with 300, 500,000 who is too stupid to understand, too close-minded to listen, and thinks he has 300,000 in the bank. His money's safe. And then he's going to wake up and it's going to be worth zero. And he ain't going to be a happy camper. And it's going to be too late for him. Now, if he takes the 300 grand and buys gold, what's the worst that can happen? Gold sits at 2,000 an ounce. The dollar doesn't go out. Oh, okay. Well, then I can sell the gold back for the dollars, and he'll get the same price, probably more anyway, for the dollars. That's the worst that can happen, but that's impossible because we know they printed so many dollars that nobody wants them, and we know what BRICS is doing. So the odds on the dollar not collapsing is the same as the Titanic not sinking. You hit the iceberg, you're gonna sink. And with all the shit that the dollar's gone through and all the printing and what BRICS is doing, the odds on it not going to zero are the same odds as the Titanic not sinking. But you have to understand that. You have to be patient. You have to be open-minded. And somebody who wants to learn and protect themselves, like Bobby Bowe, that's the problem. These people are like, I'm telling one guy, last week in the gym, and he's like, I got oil stock. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll see how that does. I mean, these people are morons, but you can't do anything because they're not trained to think. And I really at least when I got home from school, I had time to think, and I could think about the football and kind of get better methods to handicapping and poker and stuff like that. And the kids now don't even have the time. I mean, when I was still married, my kids would come home in junior high school and they'd be 13, 14, and they'd come home and they'd have to do more homework. They had no time to think. And then when they were finally done, they'd put SpongeBob on and veg out. So there was really no independent time for thinking. And it just beats you down into you keep, get up, go to school all day, and then come home, grab a snack, and then let's do more homework. I mean, it's very depressing. So I at least could think. They can't even think. They don't even know what they're doing. They have no time for this. So it's crazy. But that's what it is. I just want to touch on one other thing I saw a lot yesterday was this insanity that the Super Bowl was fixed. I saw it at least 4 or 5 times. Let me go back to history. This girl next door is really bothering me. She's got this music on today. I had to go to her and say, "What the fuck? I'm working. I can't have this music this loud." So I ran into these 3 videos yesterday. The Super Bowl was scripted. The Super Bowl, the NFL's rigged spectacle. And Joe Biden's shocking post fuels the fuck of that. We rigged it. Was the Super Bowl scripted? Okay, I watched these 4 videos. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, where they're getting it from. There is no way that game was fixed. I mean, you've got to understand how you fix a game in the first place, right? You fix a game like Super Bowl III. What happened? Earl Morrall, the Baltimore quarterback, threw like 4 interceptions in the first half. Right? The defense hits the guy. They fumble. The Baltimore's got it at the 10. He throws a bad pass that's tipped up and intercepted. Then he throws another one that hits the guy in the shoulder pads, and then it's intercepted. Then he misses the flea flicker play where the primary target's wide open at the goal line. Just throw it to him, touchdown, throws it to another person. That's how you fix a game, by making incredibly stupid passes for turnovers, and that's a fixed game. I didn't see that. I didn't see Mahomes throwing interceptions. He threw one. I didn't see anything else. Certainly didn't see Purdy do it. How and where and what are you watching that you think it's a fixed game? Even at the end, if it's an overtime, okay, it's a fixed game. 3rd and 13 at their own 20-yard line, Frisco, and he goes and the ball gets tipped, and they call defensive holding. Oh, wait a minute. If the game's fixed, they would never have called defensive holding. They would have offset it with offensive holding and defensive holding or something stupid like that. You would not have called the defensive holding on Kansas City if you're fixing the game for Kansas City, because you're letting the Niners drive down and you don't know that KC's going to drive back. So you would never fix the game. The refs only called a few penalties. What are you talking about fixing a game? There's no way the game was fixed. One guy says, well, I knew that KC would win a close game and the Niners would get up and KC would storm back. And, well, pretty much fundamentally, we knew Mahomes would win it. And we thought it'd be close based on the Baltimore game and the Buffalo game. Those are both close games. So you would think Mahomes wins a close one is not a fix. It's a fact. And I just can't believe that there's actually people calling for a fix but can't explain it. The NFL's fixed. They wanted him. They want Taylor Swift to win. They wanted Mahomes to win. They want him to be the next Tom Brady. No, basically, he's the best player in the league by far, except for Joe Burrow. And so when he gets in, there's nobody that's as good as him. Clearly, that's what's going on. I mean, it's a very simple, if you understand football, like we understand gold and like we understand economics, it's very simple. There's no way the game was fixed. The game played out where the Niners played tough and got a lead, and there was some good fumbles. Why would McCaffrey fumble if the game was fixed? He wouldn't have fumbled. Why did Pacheco fumble if the game's fixed? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. That's not how a fixed game goes. And so you have that, and it's just not. It's not what's happening. And it's just it's a stupid analogy. You're not explaining it. So it's like these gold guys who don't explain what gold is. You're not explaining paper gold versus not explaining inflation. Is the printing of the dollar, not the prices. So you're not doing anything correctly. Therefore, you're not backing it up. You can't say the game was fixed. Well, that's my opinion. Show me how it's fixed. And they can't do it. Show me how the dollar dropped today. It was real. You can't do it because it isn't, because it's paper, because the price itself is paper price, not a physical one. So why there's not a physical gold market, I think that's what's coming. That's what Mark McGuire stated in his last video, that the physical price, there'd be COMEX blowing up from Russia and from BRICS, and then the paper price coming up. So, and then the physical price coming up. This girl with the music, I'm going to kill her. Fortunately, I don't normally hear it. I told her about it, and she must be the stupidest person I've ever heard. If I'm complaining, I got to work, and you can't have the music loud. Why am I hearing music now? Just turn it down. I mean, this is an apartment. It's got to be some concealment. I never heard the people before. Somebody new moved in. I never heard them. I never heard their music. I shouldn't, keep your music down or move it to your bedroom or something. Move it off the wall, wherever it is. You can't have it. So I've complained to the office, and I did talk to the girl. Being stoic, I don't bullshit around. Turn your music down. This is an apartment. We need it down. And yet she doesn't do it. Well, I'm going to keep going there until she does. She doesn't like it. Tough shit. But I did complain to the office. Anyway, it bothers me because it bothers my concentration. All right. So we understand what's going on. We understand where it's going, and we're preparing for where it's going. Anyway, what else is there? So that's what we know, and there's a lot of this. A lot of this Tucker Carlson. So he did an interview, or why did you go there? What did you think? I thought he asked good questions. I thought he got good answers from Putin. Putin did not get all stressed and yell like Biden does. I mean, of the two leaders, I trust Putin a lot more than I trust Biden after seeing this interview, because Biden always is screaming and crying and all this shit. And I didn't see Putin once lose it, as I explained to you. And he talked about history. And then you're wondering why. And then you realize that what the communists try to do is delete history. So you don't know about the past. Then there's this digital currency and the AI, and everybody's trying to scare you. And I just stoic it all. I don't pay any attention to any of it. I don't pay attention to Bitcoin, and I don't pay attention to its digital currency. And the banks aren't going away. And, there'll be some banks going out because they're idiots, but the banks aren't going away. They make money, and the people that make money aren't going anywhere, right? They're worth a lot of money. They don't want to go. They're not going. The bank, you'll never get rid of money. You'll never get rid of banks. It'll be an option. Do you want to do crypto? Do you want to do Bitcoin? Do you want to go digital currency? It'll be an option for you, but at the end, everybody seems to think you're going to be controlled. And I'm like going, but we're controlled now. I mean, when I took out 10 grand to buy gold, they said, why are you taking it out? How is that any different than being controlled? And I said, I'm going to buy gold. And I think sometimes I said, I'm going to Vegas. I want to play poker and I need money. I mean, it was like, it was all like, oh, we're not controlled now, really? Hard to believe that. So that's what I'm saying. This music, oh my God. I'll have to go to the office and complain. I'm sure there's something in it that you can't be noisy to your fellow people who live here. It's funny. I thought it was the lady upstairs. She says, I work nights. I'm sleeping. I don't play music. And so I didn't think so, but it's so loud. It seemed like it was coming from upstairs. Anyway, sorry to keep bothering you with that, but that's where we're at. So again, Valentine's Day tomorrow. So buy your babies some flowers and candy. I was watching 3,000 Miles from Graceland and Kirk Russell and Kevin Costner. And Kurt Russell is with Courtney Cox. And he goes, how much do I owe you for the sleeping with you? And she says, oh, no, if it's normal, you don't owe me anything, but it would be proper to give me candy or flowers. So the next time they're together, he buys her like an Almond Joy, one of those big Almond Joy bars. Here's chocolate. So that was funny. But, Valentine's Day, they like roses. It's really confusing because they don't last. So it's hard to spend a lot of money on roses, but the girl likes it. And it's the same thing as I talk about with the beers and the Monopoly. It's the stupidest Monopoly in the world because you don't need diamonds. Hey, Bobby Bo. She's playing Taylor Swift. Oh, I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. It's some bullshit. All I know is it's loud and interrupting my mind thought. You should get back at her by blasting the Rocks theme real loud. Yeah, if I smell what they're cooking. Yeah, but she might like that. Well, I'm at a disadvantage now where I don't have the TV on, so I can't really put the sound up. But I think when I'm done, I will go to the office. I think I want to get some dessert or something. Again, I got hamburger to make for dinner and salad. And I got my eggs. I do need some dark chocolate. So I might run out to the store. But, I'll stop by the office and complain. It's not acceptable. I mean, it's 5:00 in the afternoon. What are you fucking doing? You can't act like nobody else lives here. And I try to be careful. I will sometimes when I get the movies like 3,000 and it's really low. And then I got to turn the sound up to 30. And then the commercials pop in, right? And all of a sudden they're very loud. I'll mute it for the 30 seconds of the commercial. So, I try to be conscious of I'm not in my own place. And this is probably the biggest problem of an apartment over a condo that is like nobody on top of you. Where I used to live, I had the top and the bottom of the condo, and I had somebody like behind me or something, but you never had like this. And then it's paper thin walls, which I had somebody living here the first year and a half. I never heard them. I never heard music like this. So again, I haven't heard it too much here, but telling her to keep it down, and she still isn't. You know, I don't know. I can't. I'll have to make another comment. No more dark chocolate. Well, I run out, so I gotta replenish. I mean, this music's just ridiculous. Yeah, I'll have to go get some more. But otherwise, I mean, I got paid yesterday. Although it's not enough. It's enough for rent and the girls, and not really enough to pay everything and the credit card. So I always am a little short. But anyway, I'm waiting on these jobs. I keep applying. We're in a recession. So it's basically, Jenna will ask me, did you get a job? Did you get a job? And I said, nothing yet. It's just, we're in a recession. But as soon as the gold goes up, it won't matter. And that's the other hidden thing is it's all the money I have in gold and silver. So really, like, I'm fine, but I don't want to have to go through my gold and silver, which is why I keep money in the safe. I don't want to start cashing it in at these low levels. Now, if it hits 5,000, I could maybe sell an ounce of gold for the 5,000. But if I do that, what's the 5,000 going to buy? And this is what people aren't getting. Like I said, I give Daria $100, and it's 90 to 1 for the ruble. So she's getting, she's getting 900. She gets 9,000 or 90,000. 100 times 90. So there's 3 zeros. I think she gets like 9,000. So I give her 100, she gets 9,000, and it's like, but then what do you do with it? Everything costs, like the roses, 600 rubles for a rose, which is $3. So even though she gets 9,000 rubles, it doesn't buy much. And that's where we're headed. You'll get more money, but it's not going to buy anything. And the neutralizers, the gold, which contains the price. So as the price drops, but the gold doesn't, so then I cash the gold in, and I can still buy the Coke and the Fritos and everything at that level because the gold holds the value, the dollar doesn't. So as the dollar drops, prices go up in dollars. So I think the big key to realize is right now we're living in a dollar world. So everything's priced in dollars. You want a Toyota, you want a Fiat, a Ferrari, a Mercedes, $90,000, let's say. 90,000 of these. So we're living in a dollar world, but the dollars collapsed. So now this goes out because it takes so much to buy anything. So you go to the grocery store, it's now 100 of these to buy tuna, milk, and eggs, where it would cost you 20 or 30 before. And that's what the purchasing power is, what they're trying to say, which I call the inflation. So the inflation is making you need more of these to buy it. So when think you got $100, but $100 doesn't buy what it used to. However, the gold keeps the value, and that's what the gold is. So as you need more money to buy eggs and milk, the gold value is supposed to go up with it. So now the 1 ounce of gold still buys, let's say it takes 2 ounces to buy the house. Obviously not at 2,000, but that's why the value is fake, because the gold value should be the same now as it was before the inflation. So in 1971, it was 35 an ounce. Now you need $2,000 to buy the same ounce of gold, meaning the dollar didn't keep up with gold. But if you bought, let's say you needed 2 ounces of gold for a house in 1971. Well, it's hard because it's $35 and houses were more than 70. But something that you needed an ounce of gold back then, and now that ounce now is, so something worth $35. Let's put it this way. Something, let's say it's a coat, a nice suit. It was $35, cost you an ounce of gold. And now we carry it forward. The ounce of gold is worth $2,000. The nice suit's worth $2,000. So the gold kept the price. The dollars, you would have needed $35 for the suit. Now you need $2,000 for the suit, but you still need 1 ounce of gold for the suit. That's kind of the dichotomy of what the gold does, is it keeps the value. It will always buy the suit. Maybe in a house, I don't know. They weren't that expensive in the 70s, 5,000, let's say. So let's say you needed 10 ounces of gold for a house. You probably still need 10 ounces of gold for a house. And that's where I catch that the ounce of gold isn't correct. If we really look at it, I think I'll do that as a little project. So let's say a house was $5,000 for, let's use this comparison. So a house is $5,000 in 1971. Gold selling at $35 an ounce. Let's do this. Let's say a house is $3,500. So keep it simple. So we need 100 ounces of gold at $35. No, we need 100 ounces to get to 3,500. So 100 ounces of gold will buy a house. Now we come to today, 100 ounces of gold is what? Is like 200,000. Is that correct? Or is that 2 million? 2,000, yeah, 20,000, 200,000. So the house would be 200,000. It's not. The house is more like 400,000 or 500,000. So that tells me gold 2,000 really should be gold 4,000 or 5,000. Whatever you would get back to have it equal to the house in 71 is what you should be at the value of gold today, because the ounce of gold didn't change. You didn't inflate it, right? So if we didn't inflate the gold, it's still worth the 1 ounce of gold. It just took more dollars to buy it. But if the 1 ounce of gold if you needed 10 ounces of gold to buy a house in 1971, you still should only need 10 ounces of gold to buy the house, which shows you how undervalued gold is, because that would only buy you 10 ounces of gold would be $20,000. Well, wait a minute, houses you can't buy for 20,000. So really gold should be 40 or 50,000 to match what it did in 71. So I'll do that. Let me do that equation. Sounds like fun. But that's really how you measure what gold is, because gold doesn't move. It's still an ounce of gold, and you can't inflate it. Yeah, there's a little dug out of the ground. There's like 3,000 tons a year or something like that. So it's a tiny bit, but it's not really inflationary because of the overall, if you have 50, yeah. But if you have, 250, if you had 230,000 tons, and now you got 235,000 tons, it's really, since you're dealing with such a big number, it doesn't really affect the inflationary part of it. So now it's quiet. So I don't know. Hopefully she's not home that much. So we will see. And then I think my heater on, so that'll help relieve it. I don't hear it much when I go to sleep because my bedroom's all the way on the other side from her. But, I don't want to keep turning my TV on louder to offset the noise on her radio. But anyway, that's how you figure it out. And if you notice, they'll say, well, if we adjust it for, like Star Wars, highest grossing film, but if we adjust it for inflation, it really was, 500,000. Now it's worth 50 million or something. So that's a clear way of understanding what the gold price should be and how bad the dollar has been inflated. So if you have any questions, this is why the 2000 an ounce is a joke based on what it could buy in 71. You didn't inflate it. An ounce of gold, still an ounce of gold. A house is still a house. So why, if it took 10 ounces and now the house is 5,000, at 10 ounces, that's what? That's $50,000 an ounce is where it should be. And then we'll figure that out. But anyway, that's the key to it. The gold never goes anywhere because it's 1 ounce. And it doesn't really get printed. Very, very little dug out of the ground. Again, into a big stack, into 250,000 tons. If you find 3,000, that's not inflation. Not like the dollar. You're adding, we'll print another 2 trillion to pay the interest on the debt. That's where really what you get is the debt. If you have any thoughts about the dollar, well, maybe it won't go out. You can't have $35 trillion in debt and pay 5% interest on it, which you have to print more money, pay the interest, and not think that's killing it. It's killing the value of it. So that's where you're at. And so there's a lot of ways to calculate it out, but $2,000 gold's bullshit, and silver, it's got to be bullshit. Only going up 7 times. Gold went from 35 to 2,000, but silver went from what? $5 to 22. It went up 4 times, 5 times. I mean, come on. How is that possible? Because again, it's a real cash and priced in dollars. Obviously, it should take more dollars to buy the silver than 5 times. If gold went up from 35 to 2,000, how does silver go from 5 to 22? I mean, so that's really the clues to figure out the game is right there. So let me do some research on that as soon as I get this girl to turn off her fucking music. I don't know what she's doing. I complained to her. What is she still doing? Oh, I didn't think it was that loud. Well, yeah, I complained. So shut the fuck up. I told her I'm working, which I am, but I can't. Thank God I'm not at Harley and we're having a teams meeting and I got this stupid music. Yes, Bobby Ball, I have to get some dark chocolate. Might get some ice cream or something. See, here's my problem. I got the chocolate craving because I don't have dark chocolate. And this is where I run and buy ice cream or cookies instead of I need more dark chocolate. But even that, the price went up. And really the best place for it is Walmart or I guess Sam's. There's a Sam's Swiss dark chocolate that's like $2. The other ones that I get are like $3.50. I mean, they went up from like $2.80 to $3.50. So I got to go back to Walmart when I can and buy, I buy 5 of them at a time. Yeah, I went to the pool, but I'm wondering about my foot because it's bothering me. And I took my colchicine and it seemed to be fine in the morning. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take time off. So I rode the bike and then I wasn't going to go into the pool and I was just going to hot tub and the hot tub was closed. So I couldn't do what I wanted, which was ride the bike for the exercise and hot tub and not run in the pool. So I kind of walked a lap, did my stretches for my back, and then I swam like 3 laps because I don't normally swim that. I swim like a lap. I run 5. I swim a lap. I run 5. So I didn't do the running. I just swam, but my foot's a little bit tight right now for some reason. But I woke up. At least I woke up. It wasn't swollen, and then I was able to walk fine. It's funny though, when I put my shoe on it, it starts hurting. It rubs like this part here rubs against the shoe. So I got to figure out to stretch the shoe open or something. And then it starts hurting as I'm walking because it's rubbing up against the shoe. So we'll figure that out. But otherwise, so like I said, I got my money. So I was able to give the girls a little Valentine's. And we'll see what happens, but I'm very optimistic. The gold will go up, and then I'll fully retire with all that I have at not 2,000, but even if it goes to 5,000, I double everything I have. But then I still have to be careful. How much will food go up? Is hamburger? I just got hamburger today at $5.50 a pound. I got salmon at $9.99, and I got these southern pork ribs for $3.29 a pound. I thought I'd try them. I'm not really a big pork fan, but they seem cheap, so I said, I'll give them a try. Normally, I get the short beef ribs, which I love, but they were $13 a pound. So there you go. I'm substituting. I got the salmon at $9.99. He said it was because of the Super Bowl. And then the hamburger's still in the $5 range, which I'm shocked, which I'm wondering, what am I eating? And then the switching from the beef ribs at $13.99 to these pork ribs at $3.29. So that's how you kind of get away from it. You substitute out, and, well, ribs are ribs. Let me try them. I asked them, how do you cook them? And they said the same way you cook a steak, just broil it. And I'm like, okay. Sometimes you bake. I bake my roast, but I don't bake the ribs. I will tend to broil. But I think I'll turn on Gordon Ramsay. So if you ever want to really, like Bobby, you learn to cook a little better, just watch Gordon Ramsay on YouTube, and he has a lot of good things that he does. The only time is sometimes he doesn't say the temperature. So he'll put it in the oven to, I guess, bake, but you don't know how long or what temperature it's at. So, but he does, like when he puts it in the frying pan, he'll put it, he doesn't say either, he says put it on high or put it on medium and until it's, brown or whatever. And you're like, yeah, okay, thanks a lot. I need to have, go have your avocado. They're on sale all over, like $1 a piece, 99 cents a piece. I saw them yesterday, 2 for $1. I already got the 10 for $10. So for some reason, avocados are coming down. They were really bad. They were more expensive, and they were all squishy, so you couldn't even find them. Now they're pretty good, and now they're $1. So it must be the season must have just popped where they got all these avocados in California, I guess, or Mexico. I don't know where they come from. Let's see, where does it say? Yeah, avocado from Mexico. So it must be Mexico harvest season, because we're getting a lot of them. Anyway, so I guess that's it. I'm going to go do the inflation research. Sounds like fun. And I got to do my website. I got to check my totals. I think there's an adding error. That was up like $100,000. I don't know how many units, but because I'll put 21, bet 2,100 and 21 units. And really, I'm 21 units is whatever it is. It's not necessarily 2,100. It's whatever your 21 unit bet is. It's just to say bet it stronger. And but the total, I don't think the total dollars is correct. So I gotta do that. Otherwise, Valentine's Day, I'm surprised I didn't hear from Daria at all today. She kept checking in, so it almost leads me to believe she's working. Where yesterday she said she went to the clinic for her neck and her hand, and then she said she went to some meeting. So she tells me about it. So I'm like, I didn't hear it all today, which is surprising. She's been better at keeping in communication. And then I'm waiting on her trip. If her daughter has to go to school on spring break for some reason, I'm hoping not, because I want to go for a week. I don't want to go, for 3 days, because it's a flight and the time change. You really takes a couple days to get acclimated, and then you want to be there a week. Want to enjoy the vacation. So I'm waiting to hear on that. But outside of that, so we're in February 13th already. Jesus, just February 1st, and now it's the 13th, and it'll be March 1st soon. So we will see. But I don't know. So I told her to send me a picture of her roses and her candy. So I should get something tomorrow. Happy Valentine's Day. It's the little things that you do. That's what they like. So we will see. Anyway, I think that's about it. This music's bothering me. I got to get this shut off here. Anyway, anything else, Bobby Bo? Anybody? I don't see Luke. I think Luke comes on if I'm on like at 5:36. Then Luke gets home from work, so I think that's why we don't see him this early. But anyway, don't be affected or worried about this price. It's a paper price. We really care about the physical price, so don't worry about it. It's really a buying opportunity. So if you understand what's going on, there is no physical price, and it's way under what it should be, which I'll get you tomorrow. And then we add in it's a paper derivative price is how they're pricing it, and it's going down. Can't be by demand because there isn't even a physical price that monitors when people sell. And that's the problem I have with Bitcoin. There's nothing in Bitcoin that says where it's coming from, right? There's no physical Bitcoin, so that's all paper. How the price goes up is based on what? Somebody buying Bitcoin? And do they know somebody? So if I went and bought 10 Bitcoins, would they know I bought 10 Bitcoins? Would that raise the price? I find it hard to believe that A, they would know I bought, and B, that would, me buying 10 or raising the price. So I can't believe that there's that many people buying Bitcoin. I think it's a Ponzi scheme by that Sailor guy, and I think he bought it cheap and he's trying to sell it so he can so the value will go up and he'll make money, which is just like the stock market. When Blue Star says buy this, Michael Douglas, stock goes up, then they sell, and then the people who are getting in it get the shit beat out of them because it's such a fixed market. So I think it's the same with Bitcoins. Anyway, be careful, understand. We'll see what happens. I think gold will shoot back up because it's been doing that a lot. So whoever is getting it, believe me, all the central banks, Russia, China, are buying it. So don't be fooled like, oh, there's no value, and it's nobody is selling it, right? Who are you going to sell it to in the first place? But nobody's selling it. All the central banks are buying it. They're not. Where is it being sold? I'm buying it from the store. Okay, so some guy sells 2 ounces to my guy. Is that dropped the price $30? I mean, come on. So keep in mind, it's just paper derivative. It's not real. It's not a physical market. There's no reason for it to drop, but the derivatives, which are options, which are being sold without the gold, which is illegal. So that should be it. Yeah, retail wins up getting completely demolished. Well, that's the problem, Bobby. It's we're doing two different things. I mean, I give you the market. This is on eBay. What do I get? You get the card. That's a market for a physical card. Now, if I did this digitally, and said, "Oh, I have a 50 count Mahomes card," but you don't get the card, that's basically what you have. Well, who I want the card. I don't want that. So that's the thing with the gold. I want the gold physical. That's why I tell you to buy the physical, because they can't fuck with the physical. The derivative, there'll be buyers of it, or however it's manipulated in the market. You can see it goes up, right? And I think as Mark McGuire says, it's the casino buying it. And so I don't know where they are, but I'm sure they'll be buying it, or the banks or whoever. So again, there's too many people with it that they're going to let the price go down. And it's way cheaper than it should be anyway. Okie doke. I guess that's it. I'll be on. Well, today I stopped to do a few and to get the meat, and then I stopped to pay my chiropractor, but he wasn't. It was like I was there at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, and he doesn't open till, I think he's open 3 to 6 or something like that. He had weird hours, like Tuesday and Thursday. He doesn't open till 3. And I'm thinking, it's 1 o'clock. You're not there. And I couldn't pay the bill because I wanted to do it in person, not online. So I was like, wow. And then tomorrow it's like 10 to 1 and then 2 to 5 or something. So on the way to swim, I can pay it, I guess. You're welcome, Bobby Bo. Have a good night. And just don't worry. That's the point of this video, is when I saw the price, I said, I got to get there and explain it. But I think we all know it. It's not a real price and shouldn't be manipulated. And it really should only go down if there's physical selling, and nobody's physically selling it. Who the hell's selling it? And what for? And what are you getting? You're selling it to get back into the Titanic. So we're telling you to get off the boat for safe haven. And so what? You're going to sell your gold to get back into this? All of a sudden, this is the boat repaired itself after getting hit by the iceberg. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So anyway, have a good night. And I think I'll go get some dark chocolate or ice cream, or it's 5 o'clock, and tell them I got a loud neighbor. All right, everybody. So have a good night. www.teaserking.com. This is a great opportunity to buy gold and silver. It's on sale, so that's what I would recommend. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you, Bobby. Take care, Bobby.